Alright everyone, what's going on? We got a big Shonen Jump stream today. Obviously I want to talk about Undead Unluck. Undead Unluck has like maybe 5 chapters left, maybe 10. Big One Piece chapter today. We got Kagurabachi. Hopefully we'll fit in some Akane Banashi. And then obviously Ichi the Witch as well. So big day for manga. Good Sunday tonight to read some manga. But as usual, we'll give guess I'm just not going to talk today. We'll give everyone a few minutes before we get started. And we got Eden's in the chat already. Eden's, what's good? Eden's, no spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it in the chat, but I meant to DM you. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate the Sonic movie? And what's one criticism you have of the movie? I'm giving it like an 8 or 9 out of 10. This final arc really cemented Undead Unluck as my favorite series ever. It's definitely up there for me. I feel like this final arc has been a little too long. That I might feel different about that if I reread the whole series, binge it, and it reads better. But kind of like on a weekly experience, I would say it definitely lives up to the hype. Who we got in the chat? Let's see. We got Tech Knock Taft. Excuse me if I didn't say that right. Hello, what's going on? Pleasure to have you. Sirocco asks, how's the final arc been for Undead Unluck? It's been pretty good. I mean, if we're calling so when I say the final arc, I mean like this whole saga, I guess, where we're getting all the old characters reunited. It's had its peaks and valleys for sure, but it's been one of my favorite final arcs out of any manga. Eden's, yeah, you can DM me your spoiler review, but I was just kind of curious how much you liked it, like whether you liked it or not, what your general thoughts were. I hope the anime returns. Well, they just announced that they're doing a movie for Undead Unluck, so hopefully that means that they're already working on season 2. Justin, what's good? How you doing today? Justin, who are the Bears playing? The Cowboys? Oh, they're playing the Lions, and they're already losing 20-0. That sucks. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, they announced the Chainsaw Man movie today. That is huge news. I mean, we already knew about it, but they dropped a trailer today, and it looks really good. Hopefully, we get a Chainsaw Man Season 2 announcement soon. But my instinct is that they'll probably wait until after the movie. I'm not even watching. I'd rather hang out with you. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that my Shonen Jump stream takes place over football, so it's like a religious experience. But glad to have you, man. You were smiling through the whole movie? Yeah. So one thing I can say about also, by the way, if you haven't seen Sonic the Hedgehog 3, go see it. It's an amazing movie. The only, I guess one of the spoiler-free complaints I have is I feel like they kind of rushed the beginning. The beginning of the movie feels very fast, and it almost feels like they cut a bunch of stuff out from the beginning of the movie. Like, it's very weirdly paced. Not bad, but I remember watching it like, oh, okay, oh, all right then. I guess we're just getting right into it. Well, I'm glad I can do that for you, Justin. I feel the same way about the Patriots, who I honestly don't even think I'll watch them play I think it's the Giants they're playing later. It's either the Giants or the Bills, but I think it's the Giants. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and read Undead Unluck. So give me 1 second while I do a quick refresher, because I just caught up on Undead Unluck the last couple of days. I was like 90, 80 chapters behind, something like that. Where the heck was I? I'm a lot farther behind than I thought. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I was caught up. Oh, this is kind of awkward. I'm only on chapter 223, and there's another 15 chapters, right? Uh-oh. Ouji didn't plan his content as well as he thought he did. Yeah, there's another 13 chapters. Well, I don't really care about spoilers, so I'll take a look at the new chapter. So they're teaming up against Soul. All the Umas. One thing I will say is I feel like they never said Undead Unluck in the entire manga. Like, that wasn't a thing. And in the last 10, 20 chapters or so, I feel like they say it every chapter. Which I don't hate, but I feel like, I don't know. I don't hate it, but it does feel a little forced, I guess. Now that we're like in the very end, and now they're just kind of calling themselves Undead Unluck. It feels cheap, I guess. But I also like it. I like their, acknowledging the name. I don't know. I'm mixed on it. One thing I will say about the recent chapters is I don't hate them, but they're kind of hit or miss. Like, they're either really, really good, or they're like, like, not bad. None of the chapters for the last 2 years have really been bad. Like, I think the last arc that really lost me was the one with Unruin. Let me see. I have to make sure I have the right character. Yeah, it was Unruin. That whole arc with Unruin really kind of lost me. The arc where they like first figured out how to manipulate souls. That arc, I was like, yeah, I don't really care about this manga right now. Which was kind of disappointing, not gonna lie. Because for a while, Undead Unluck was one of those manga that I read every week. Post loop, I could see that. So I'll say this. The arc where they recruited Unavoidable is probably not my favorite arc, but that's like my favorite fight in the whole series. Cinema chapter. Yeah, this was a really good chapter. I mean, I am a bit behind, so I just kind of flipped through it. But it was a really good chapter, especially for Andy and Fuko. But again, I will say the whole calling themselves Undead Unluck thing does feel a little forced, in my opinion. It works, obviously, but it does feel a little cheap. So yeah, how many chapters? I don't know if it was announced. Let me see. How many chapters do we think Undead Unluck has? Somebody said on Twitter that it's on its final volume. I'd say around, so somebody is saying 9 chapters, somebody's saying 4 chapters. Yeah. I'm not sure what volume, like where we are in the volumes, but depending on where we are, that would determine, because apparently we're on the last volume. Oh, I forgot Andy's still wearing the artifact that lets his clothes reform around him. There's about 4 more to complete a volume. My crackbot theory comes true and we get an extended final run arc in the new world where we learn about where Luna and Sun came from. I do hope. So this chapter, again, I'm kind of behind. I have like 13 chapters left. This chapter kind of implies that Andy and Fuko are not going to be together in the ending, or that Andy is not intending on making it to the end of the story. So my hope is that we get some sort of new loop where they are together. Although they will say like your love will be erased, you guys won't be together anymore. Yeah, he basically says once they win this fight, Fuko's going to forget about Andy, and that'll pretty much be the end of their relationship, which is pretty tragic considering this series is basically one big romance, kind of like Dawn to Dawn. I've been wary of how he might handle Andy in the very end. Real curious how it'll be approached. That's kind of what I've been thinking as I've been catching up, is because Andy has been left out of the story for so long, I feel like that makes it almost harder to execute their final moments as a couple. Um, that being said, they were together for so long, and he was such a big part of the story for so long that you almost can't forget his presence once you get to that point. But at the same time, I can't help feeling like when he did catch back, or when he did come back to the story, he almost felt like a stranger. But again, this is all fresh to me, so I gotta kind of sit with it. Did I watch the new Dr. Stone PV? The animation looks improved. I watched some of it. I did not watch the teaser for season 4, episode 1. I saw the trailer for season 4, and in my opinion, the overall consistency looks just about the same. Dr. Stone is really weird. Dr. Stone will look low budget in some scenes, and then like oddly random scenes will be really well animated. That happens a lot in season 3, especially, where like I was watching episodes and there were such like nothing scenes, but they're animated really well. And then like important fights or whatever, it just kind of like, you know, animated so. Yeah, I've got the last chapter I'm on is 223. So it looks like I just have to read all of these final fights. The 5th anniversary is in January. Yeah, that could be true. But again, they're finishing up the last volume, so it'll just come down to like whatever chapter that is. They could always do like Dr. Stone and do some kind of epilogue chapter, but I don't know how likely that is. Any example of Dr. Stone? So, in season 3, the episode where Kohaku, Amaryllis, and Ginro are dressed up and they're in Abara's palace, whatever you want to call it. And Senku and his team use the remote controlled mouse. The scene where they're with what's his name? That one minion who's like super beefy. There's a scene where the mouse goes by him and he like kind of moves or like jerks, and it's really well animated for a scene that's like nothing. I would have to like look it up and pull it up, but if you look at that episode, like that scene is animated really well for no reason, and then it just kind of goes back to like okay. Yeah, the magma of the island. I can't remember his name. It's like there's Mozu, there's Kirasame, and then there's that big dude. If I looked it up, I would find it. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know that I particularly care about where Sun and Luna came from. Like, obviously, they have their bits, but, like, they're the creators of the universe. So, if we don't, like, it's fine. It would certainly be nice if we kind of got more about them, but I'm not dying to know. I will say that second to last double spread on pages 22 and 23 of today's Undead Unluck chapter, that's like a wallpaper right there. That is sick. If some manga colorist on Twitter colors that really well, I might have to print that, because that's a dope panel. Other than that, I don't really have too much to say on Undead Unluck. I want to try and do a retrospective stream closer to when we get the final chapter, but for now, I'm really excited to see the ending of Undead Unluck. I think the final arc has been really, really good. It's had its peaks and valleys. Nothing as bad as that Fuko being a ghost and Unruin arc that really lost me. But the arcs in this final saga have been fairly hit or miss. But for the most part, I would say it's like a consistent 7. Wicked sick even? Yes. I would say this final arc is wicked sick. I felt so validated when Andy started saying that, because being from New England and saying wicked so much, I feel very represented having a manga character of all things say wicked all the time. Obviously, that was a personal choice by what's his name? Oh, did they not list the translator? What? That's weird. Did they not list the translator for these chapters? I know who he is. He's on Twitter. He's super active about this manga, and he's super active on Twitter. Oh, geez, that's going to be a pain in the ass. Let me see. Undead Unluck. Let's go to chapter 1, maybe? Translated by... Wow, they do not list his name. That's crazy. Huh. Anyway, I know off the top of my head that the whole wicked sick thing was a personal choice by the Viz translator. But still, I feel very represented whenever they say that. Where the hell are we? Excuse me 1 second. All right. David Evelyn. Yes. That sounds right. Thank you. I haven't met him. I don't know him personally, but I follow him on Twitter, and he seems like a wicked cool guy. See, I just did it. So now you know I'm not faking it. That was a instinctual adjective right there. Anyway, point being, yeah, Undead Unluck is just really cool. So it's pretty special that it's finally ending after, God, it started, 2019? So 2025, 6 years? That's crazy. Although it started in the summer of 2019, so I think it might be more like 5.5. He was going to go with good shit, but they couldn't have that all the time. That's funny. Is it confirmed that Dr. Stone Season 4 will be split in 3 cores? Yes, it has been. each having 11 episodes. I don't know about 11, but it'll probably be more like 11 or 12. There should be 13 episodes each core so that the anime doesn't become as rushed as the manga. I will say this, I don't really think they're going to do a whole lot to fix the pacing of everything after South America. They might do a little bit, but considering they're only going to have 11 to 13 episodes a core, I don't see that happening. Although that being said, there aren't that many chapters to adapt, so they do have a lot of wiggle room. Undead Unluck started January 22. That's so weird. Why do I remember it being a summer manga? I could have sworn it was debuted in like July. Huh. Anyway, yeah, so that makes it will be I feel stupid now because somebody talked about how the anniversary is coming up. But so it'll be 5 years old when it ends. That's crazy. That's how you know it was like one of those manga. Like it was a success for sure, despite, you know, however well the anime does. The manga was a big hit. Yeah, I don't know about them adapting the epilogue stuff, but hopefully they add plenty of additional moments that kind of space things out. But on that note, that's all I really have to say for Undead Unluck this week. So now let's talk about One Piece. Now, One Piece, I did get spoiled on, unfortunately. That's just the way it is being a One Piece fan. Although I have not read the chapter. I read the spoilers once I got spoiled, but I have not read the chapter, so I'm really excited. On that note, if you have not read One Piece 1134 and you do not want to be spoiled, now would be the time to maybe go get yourself a nice warm cup of hot cocoa, or maybe a nice warm cup of tea. Maybe that's when I read it. Summer is when it was popping off. No, I definitely read it day one because I remember all the reactions to it. People thought it was going to get canceled because of how awkward that first chapter is, to say the least. Everybody get ready when we reach Laughdale full offline mode. Yeah, that... Whenever we get to like the final arc of One Piece, I am going to be very discerning on the internet. Excuse me 1 second. What's my top 3 manga and top 3 anime? Well, I'll say my top 3 anime. My top 3 anime are in no order: One Piece, Dr. Stone, and Gintama. Now, my top 3 manga would be the same thing, but I haven't read the Gintama manga yet. So my top 3 manga? Maybe I would say One Piece, Dr. Stone, and Bleach. Yeah, so I saw that on Twitter today. That perfect transition. Thank you, Justin. So at Jump Festa, in case you're not aware, excuse me, the Seiyu voice actor for Frankie has officially retired. So they are passing on the position to another Seiyu voice actor who voiced Toto in Jujutsu Kaisen, as well as a bunch of other characters in anime like JoJo Part 5. One Piece, Undead Unluck, Kagurabachi is my top 3. That's a pretty solid top 3. Not top 3, but somewhere in my top 5, or at least top 10, is Soul Eater. Soul Eater is one of my all-time favorite manga. Anyway, so we got a very nice double spread colored cover page for Frankie's voice actor, which looks very nice, by the way. So we open and Luffy is doing that pose that Jinbei did on Wano, on Onigashima, where he's doing, so if you're not familiar, he's doing like a Yakuza thing where they, like, that's how Yakuza members greet each other. They do that funny little squat pose. Basically what he's doing is he's trying to formally honor Saul, which I think is really cool. Have I seen Beastars? No, I have not. I have not read the manga, and I have not watched the anime. No particular reason why, I just haven't really gotten to it. By the way, as we transition to another manga for the stream, friendly reminder that if you would like to show your support for the channel, dropping a super chat and getting me to answer one of your questions, like what are my top 3 favorite anime, or what are my favorite manga, is a huge way to support the channel. Even something as small as $1 helps support the channel by paying for editors and all that good stuff. I think it's kind of funny that Robin's like, oh yeah, this is Luffy. And he's like, yeah, I know, he's kind of a, he's like kind of a terrorist. How would I not know who he is? How have I watched Red Monster? No, but that's at the top of my must-read list. Saul, thanks everyone for keeping Robin safe. Then Vegapunk, well, Yoga donated $1. Thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. That is a huge help. What was the super chat? Let me see. Oh, it was just a $1. Well, thank you. That is a huge help. Thank you so much. What was I going to say now? Oh, what is this? I always forget. I can never keep them straight. I know Stella is the main one, but what is the Vegapunk we have with us? I know it's not Stella. Oh, okay. So they reveal that they have a recreation of Vegapunk in some kind of biofluid. So he's going to settle down on Elbaf and build a new lab. That's kind of wild. I feel like it's dropped very casually, but that's a pretty big deal. Oh, Lilith. That's who it is. Undead Unluck is really entering its final phase, but Yozakura is really delivering final epilogue moments that is really making me glad it survived this long. Yeah, I definitely gotta binge Yozakura Family when it ends. Dr. Stone, Undead Unluck, Eden Zero are the only manga that made me cry for when the manga ended. Not so much Eden Zero, although Eden Zero had some great moments in the final arc. Am I the only one that finds GG annoying? You should definitely read the comment section for my Okarun and GG video, because I suggested that other people find him annoying and people got very offended, which is hilarious because if you go on Twitter, there's a ton of tweets of people saying that they think GG is annoying, and literally just me pointing that out, I got a ton of hate comments. So this is the second thing in this stream, well, third at least, that makes me feel very validated. So are you the only one? Certainly not. I don't necessarily think he's annoying, but I do think he is slightly problematic. So Saul has an assistant named, I'm going to guess Angie? Might be Ange, but I'm guessing Angie. Saul's gonna give Robin a tour of the library. That's cute. Chopper wants to go see the library. That's very in character. Okay. That could be a fan favorite character. So they're talking to all the kids. They're asking if they're going to be warriors, and they're like, yeah, that's not really hip anymore. They go, you're standing on top of Miss Ripley. There's definitely a wide array of names for these giant characters. Like, you have names like Gerd, and then you have Ripley. Very different. But, yeah, you know, Ripley seems like a pretty cool character. Purely for scientific purposes, of course. Respectable scientific reasons. Yeah, so, I saw that they announced the Undead Unluck movie, Luffy Blazing, but, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do about Season 2. I hope they announce Season 2. It's criminal that Viz never finished licensing Gintama. I'm pretty sure they did. They've been reprinting a bunch of volumes. I don't know if you can buy all of them, but I'm pretty sure you can. You don't know any questions to ask? That's okay, Yoga. Honestly, you don't even have to ask a question. If you just want to, you know, say, hey, hope you have a good day, or hey, thanks for the stream. Anything, really. You don't even have to ask a question. You can just say, here you go. But yeah, that was a huge help, so I really appreciate it. Honestly, made my day. 2024 been a great year. Has it though? I mean, yes, we have Kagurabachi, although that didn't start this year. We have Ichi the Witch. Then again, when did Astro Royale start? Was that spring of last year? They printed up to volume 20 and stopped there? No, they didn't. That's not true. Hold on. Wait a minute. BRB. Yeah. I just checked my personal collection of Gintama volumes. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. Yeah, okay, you said Gintama. I literally have Gintama volume 23. So, yeah, no. Astro came out this year. Okay, that's what I thought. Astro Royale, I need to catch back up on. I'm like 20 chapters behind on that manga. But I was really liking it so far. And what little I've heard of it is only good. Exorcist Kyoshi too. I've heard that's been pretty good lately. But yeah, I'm curious to find out about this Ripley character. She goes, insults, violence, pillaging, war. That's just not in the world we live in anymore. She goes, I teach by negative example. The great King Harold once said, don't fight other countries, trade with them. He got into many arguments with the village chiefs and their traditions. King Harold was a great king who tried to reform this country and was killed by his own son before his dreams could be realized. But the country refused to give his son the throne, and so Elbaf has no king now. Why aren't you in your white-haired form? I was looking forward to that. Oh, yeah. Luffy calls it his free form. So wait, Saul says I couldn't help but worry about the books. Oh, so he picked up a bunch of the books from Ohara. That doesn't make sense though, because I thought they were all burnt. He says he has all of the Ohara texts. Alright, so then we cut back to the underworld. You're almost as bored as me. Am I bothering you? I could use a conversation. I've got all the time in the world. So for confirmation, he is still tied up to... Loki is still tied up to the tree. He's talking to somebody on the phone, but we don't know who. I've never met you nor seen you, but through some twist of fate, we've been long friends. If I were there in your place, I'd have razed it to the ground and killed them all instead. He calls them Shaggy? I don't know who that would be. So in the western village of Elbaf, we transition now. The feast hasn't started yet. We're just drinking. In one of the castles, they're all partying. And two of the knights showed up. One of them is clearly Shanks. And one of them is some female-looking character. Huh. Well, this is going to be interesting. So anybody who had that Shanks has an evil twin theory, that's confirmed for sure. But I don't know who this female character would be. But yeah, no, this pretty much confirms that Elbaf is building up to be arguably the best arc of the New World. Likely better than Wano. Gintama has 77 volumes. Yeah, so maybe they didn't translate all of them. Thank you, Yoga. Again, really cannot thank you enough for the super chat. That's a big help. Hope you have a great night. So yeah, that's pretty much it for One Piece. I don't have too much else to say besides that. Hakutaku isn't doing well in the table of content. Jump's in a weird spot right now. I feel like hopefully next year will be better, but depending on what we get for new manga, it might be in a sort of stasis, if you will. But we'll see. I think I'm going to read Kagurabachi, and then we'll call it a day. So we're on Kagurabachi chapter 62. If you recall, in the last chapter, there were the Hishaku. I hope I said that right. Assassins. And they were looking for Mr. Samura's daughter. And what it seemed like was that Mr. Samura's daughter was a high school student. So we open to chapter 62. And it seems like we're going to follow her story. So we are getting her backstory. We meet the mother. The dad left before I was born, obviously. They're showing a clip of Chihiro at the play when he killed a bunch of Hishaku people. Huh. 3 days earlier, a weird thing had blocked out the sky. That, of course, being Mr. Samura's owl spell, enchantment, whatever. So they're all talking about what that thing in the sky means. So the Hishaku assassins are not being slick at all. They walk right up to the front of the school, and they just start slicing people up. Ouji, am I going to do a vid on what happened to the art style for Hunter x Hunter? I think the art is going to get better in the later half. I would have to reread Hunter x Hunter's art, because for me, it doesn't change all that much. I would like to do a video on Hunter x Hunter's art style, but I don't know what form that would take just yet. Yeah, that's true. Jump needs a good romance manga. Is Blue Box still a thing? Or did that end? Let me take a look for a second. Nope, Blue Box is still very much a thing, sadly. God, I hope that manga ends already. What have we got? Oh, we were reading Kagurabachi. Chihiro shows up, of course. He has to save the day. He's with all the ninjas. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, this was kind of a in-between chapter, although it does do a nice job of setting up Mr. Samura's daughter. You know, decent. Nothing bad, but, you know, nothing crazy. It also does a nice job of doing a little bit of world building, showing you the perspective of civilians and kind of their take on all of this craziness that's going on. Blue Box anime is amazing. Listen, if you like Blue Box, good for you. I don't think it's the worst thing out there. And if you enjoy it, great, awesome. But I'll say this, I am not making a video on it anytime soon. I have no desire to talk about Blue Box. There's Hematen. Yeah, I think everyone keeps talking about Hematen in the stream today. Which one is that? That is... I feel like I remember when this came out. I haven't checked it out yet. The art style seems good enough. I gotta catch up on Witch Watch too. Let's see, where am I on Witch Watch? Witch Watch... Did we not get a new Witch Watch chapter today? Is it on break? What? Nani? I know Witch Watch didn't end. Am I crazy right now? Where is Witch Watch? There it is. Okay, so I just missed it. I'm on chapter 156 of Witch Watch, and we're on chapter 184, so I'm like 30 chapters behind. I could probably read that this afternoon. Art style reminds me a lot of Nisekoi. Yeah. Hematen art is insane. It's simple, but it really pops. Okay, okay. I'll have to check it out. How many series am I presently reading in Jump? Let me go through it. Caught up on One Piece. Basically caught up on Undead Unluck. Caught up on Kagurabachi. Haven't read Spy Family in forever, even though that's technically Jump Plus. Caught up on Ichi the Witch, although I need to read the new chapter, which I'm probably going to do right after the stream. I do like Sakamoto Days, but I'm like 90 chapters behind. Haven't read Hematen yet. Very behind on Yozakura Family. I read Blue Box, don't like it. I read the first chapter of Exorcist Kyoshi. I do like it. I need to read the rest of it. Caught up on Akane Banashi. Have not checked out Sidcraft. Behind on Elusive Samurai. Like it. Not sure where I stand on it lately. I do not read Shinobi Undercover. Haven't checked it out yet. I'm like halfway through Astro Royale. Think it's really good. Have not checked out Haku Taku yet. And I think that's everything current. Behind, but really love Roboco. I do not read New A's Exorcist, but I need to check that out again. I have not checked out Super Psychic Policeman Shoujo yet, but that looks really good. I do not read Kill Blue. We just talked about Witch Watch. And yeah, that's all the stuff in the table of contents in the weekly Shonen Jump magazine. Jump's going to be on break next week and then returns January 3rd. Yeah, so we'll still stream next Sunday. I just don't know what. Corey Kenshin is back? Yeah, I haven't read his manga yet, but that's pretty dope that he made his big return. Marvel Rivals? Since we're talking about it, Marvel Rivals, I would say, is a solid 7 out of 10. It's really fun. It doesn't do anything like crazy better than Overwatch. Besides not trying so hard to be competitively balanced. And also it needs more maps. But it is really fun, and I like the characters. I do think the characters need some tuning to their kits, but it is a really fun game. And then Sonic 3 almost doubling the box office revenue for Mufasa is, again, one of the most vindicating things I've ever seen. Because I wanted to go see it at my favorite theater, where they have IMAX, and they were only playing Mufasa. So seeing it get beat by Mufasa is a bittersweet feeling, because they could have played Sonic, and they're like, oh no, we'll play the big Disney movie that nobody went to go watch. Because they keep playing, or they keep making the same stupid CGI movies over and over, and they're terrible. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's stream. Ton of good discussion today. Was excited to talk about Undead Unluck again. Feel like I haven't talked about it in forever. One Piece was really good. Kagurabachi, you know, getting there. And obviously I have a lot of reading to do. Thank you again to Yoga. I know you're not here, but huge help. Again, for everybody in the stream, something as small as $1 goes a long way to paying for editors, supporting them, helping them to make that money. Other than that, look forward to a Dr. Stone video for tomorrow. Bleach video this weekend. I know I have something else. Oh, Dawn manga video on Friday. That'll be fun. And then Tuesday is Christmas Eve. If things were different, I would stream Christmas Eve night to give everyone kind of a chill place to hang out on Christmas Eve. I know not everyone has their family to celebrate Christmas with. Excuse me, not everyone has their family to celebrate Christmas with. But I do have a party I'm going to. So we will stream usual time. We'll stream at 2 o'clock. And then we'll stream for about 1 hour, maybe 2, depending on how that goes. We'll do something Christmas related, something Christmas fun. And then we will also do some kind of Dr. Stone stream on Thursday. But again, thank you everyone. Had a great time as usual. A ton of fun stuff going on this week. But until then, I look forward to hearing from you soon. Peace.